My mother-in-law, she's never liked me because we're not the same skin color. She's racist, and guess who stood up for me? Someone I never would have expected. My sister-in-law, which is her daughter. I know there's enough crazy in-law stories to go around, but this person technically isn't my in-law yet. I've been dating her son for a few years and quickly learned why nobody around her likes her, including her own kids. She's a controlling Karen and earned the name Mag, the Mad, from her relatives. I learned why quickly after our first encounter. I swear I've never met someone so universally disliked by everyone around them. It's fascinating. And let me take you back to the beginning. It's been about 4 years since my boyfriend Cole and I have been dating, but we met a while before that. Cole works in a house renovation and remodeling, and I got the company he works for to do some work on a place my dad gave me. It was a bit of a fixer-upper, but I was determined to make it work. Cole and 2 of his co-workers were responsible for fixing up my place. My cabinets needed to be replaced along with the bathroom tiles, but they helped with so much, including the painting of the walls and moving some of the old trash left behind by the previous tenants. When they were, through, he left me his card and said to call if I had any issues. Well, I called him when I noticed water coming up from the tile, and while they don't take care of plumbing, he put me on to somebody who could. Once that was done, he had to come back to fix the tile that the plumbers dug up, and that's when he gave his real number. And the rest is history. From the first time we went out for coffee, I knew we had something going on, but I wanted to take things slow since I was new to the city and still settling in with my new job. My dad knew some people in the area who we promised would look out for me. He's super protective, and I didn't need him harassing any prospective suitors. Anywho, Cole and I dated for a while before I met any of his family, and I met his sister and her then boyfriend first. We really hit it off because she likes anime, and I like anime, and we both have partners who are not really into it. There were times when Cole would catch me giggling at my phone, and he'd just roll his eyes because he knew it was his sister. He'd even joke that I should go date her since I liked her so much. I think meeting his sister instilled me with too much confidence because at that time I was thinking, well, Cole's great, his sister's great, how bad could his mom be? She was even worse than Cole described her, and I thought he was being harsh. So, the very first time I met her, me and Cole had been dating for about 9 months. He invited me to his father's birthday party, or rather, his father suggested I tag along. I asked him what kind of stuff his dad liked so I could get him a gift. He said he's always losing his keys and stuff, so I got him a couple of those smart tags that you track stuff with, and a bottle of cognac. We get to the party, and a lot of Cole's family members are there. Mostly from his dad's side. They were all really friendly, and I met his dad first and gave him his gift. He was super appreciative of the cognac. While I was showing him how to use the smart tags, in walks Cole's mother. Mind you, we're all sitting out back talking, and his sister and her boy were there too. Anywho, she came over and loudly disrupted us. I saw Cole and his sister just roll their eyes, and her husband showed her the gift I brought, and she kind of looked disgusted and said, "Oh, you should give it back. You don't need to be drinking." But her daughter checked her right away and said, "But you were so gleeful when Auntie brought him a bottle of vodka." Cole introduced me to her, and she asked if I was one of his colleagues from work, and he said, "No, she's my girlfriend." Guys, I kid you not. She goes, "You couldn't do better than this?" And Cole loses it. Before I realize what's going on, he's out of his seat and his mom's face asking her what the duck is her problem. I grab his arm and tell him to calm down, and he's yelling and cursing at her the whole time. I'd never seen him this way. I really thought he was going to fight his mother. One of their uncles came over to defuse the situation, but the party is super tense after that. Cole's sister told me not to worry about it because she was the same way with her boyfriend. Nothing is ever good enough for her. She was always trying to set them up with her friend's kid, and when they refused, she was critical of everyone they dated since. When we went back to Cole's place, he got on the phone and started arguing with her again. I think at first he was talking to his dad, and then his mom got snippy in the background. He says he never really gets that angry, but his mom just brings the worst out in him. I think his sister expressed the same thing once. Mind you, this is the first time I've met this woman, and she was already causing confusion. Cole told me he doesn't really go around his parents' place much anymore for this exact reason. She thinks she can just say and do whatever she wants and get away with it. I told him I think her hate towards me might be racially motivated. See, I'm a black woman, for the record, and he asked if I overheard her on the phone or something, and I said no, but I just get the vibe from her. It's not really something I can explain, but anyone who's experienced racism will know what I mean. Anywho, Cole promised me we would not have to see her much, and he was right. We barely ever went over to his parents' house, and when we did, her sister was always there. Anyways, time went by and we continued to date. After 4 years, we're at the point where marriage comes into the conversation. I expect him to pop the question relatively soon. I wish I could say his mother warmed up to me. Quite the opposite, actually. Jen and her boyfriend got engaged a year ago, and they've been slowly planning the wedding that's going to happen about a month from now. At this point, things are being finalized. I'm not in the bridal party, but I'm invited to the bachelorette party. I have, however, been involved in some of the planning. Jen's friends don't live nearby, so she needed someone to run around with to the various vendors and whatnot. So Mag, the Mad, recently got wind of this and is trying to butt in with everything. First, she starts calling Jen to ask if she needs to help with any of the preparations, and Jen tells her no, everything was in place. She was just double and triple checking things to make sure everything had everything correct. But that wasn't enough for her. She starts showing up at the places we're going, like we'd meet her there, and she was never happy to see me. Anyways, the first time this happened, it was the wine testing. Jen invited me in and one of her cousins, and I don't know how her mom even found out we were going and what time, but she met us there and was already talking to the lady who's been leading the tasting, asking her what wines Jen picked out. After Jen got her to shut up, we started the tasting and she criticized everything. Too sweet, too dry, I don't like this, I don't like that. Why didn't you get this one instead? I bet she picked out this one, referring to me. Jen did not include her in any of the planning for this exact reason, and she didn't really seem to care at all until she learned I was there. This same scenario happened at the dress fitting. It was just me and Jen at the time. We met her there, harassing the staff and demanding she sees the dress. This time, Jen let loose on her right away and told her if she's going to keep showing up where she wasn't invited, she at least needs to behave. Anyways, Jen puts on the dress and it's beautiful. But of course, her mother had a lot to say about it. It was some spiel about it being too revealing or whatever. Then she goes, I bet this thing picked it out. They like this kind of stuff. Guys, even the staff was shocked. Like the owner came out and told her she had to leave. Jen kept apologizing to me over and over, and I told her it's not her fault, but she was on the brink of uninviting her mom from the wedding. When I told Cole, he stopped over at their house on the way back from work and laid into her. His dad called me and could hear them two in the background, just going at it. He basically begged me to call Cole and talk him down, which I did. I told Jen it was fine if she still wanted her mom to come to the wedding. Like, I'm not okay with that, she said, But after the wedding, I probably won't see her again for a long time because if Cole and I get married, she's not going to be there. He's already stated it. My question now is, how the heck do we get her to leave Jen alone? We still haven't figured out how she knows when we're meeting with the vendors. We still have 2 more meetings, one with the florist and one with the caterer, and the last thing we need is her ruining those 2. Top comments from the original post. Yikes, yikes, yikes. When you said she was controlling Karen, I didn't expect her to be like this. Her husband seems super chill to me though, which I find fascinating. The crazy women always have husbands who have to reel them in. My theory is that they've become curmudgeons in their old age, and the husbands are in too deep to leave, and I can't believe she said something so gross to you to your face. I don't even want to imagine what she said behind your back. I'm glad both your boyfriend and his sister are sticking up for you. Though it sounds like they're sick of their mother long before you showed up. I hope you guys can figure out a solution that works for everyone, because Mag the Mad is insane. Comment number 2. OP, you would be an absolute fool to marry into this family. Like, I wouldn't wish that ghoul of a mother-in-law on my worst enemy. Also, why is her husband still with her, and why hasn't she been completely excommunicated from the family? It seems like her kids are low contact, but the fact that they're no contact, it makes me suspicious why they won't take that step. Like, that woman is a vile racist. No one should want to be within 3 feet of her. Them calling out her behavior is not enough. They don't care about you and your safety enough to get rid of her. Update number 1. So, we found the interloper. Okay, this person isn't really an interloper, more like a pawn. So Jen has a wedding planner, and this planner is a friend of her mom's, and so her mom went through the back door and tracked down this planner to ask her when we're going to the wine tasting and the fitting at the caterers. So now that we know that, she's going to be giving Mag the Mad incorrect dates for when we'll be meeting. We went even as far as to go ahead and reschedule the bachelorette party, so she won't be able to drop in there too. It's not just the bridal party who'll be going there, but me and some of Jen's family members too. But before I go further, I want to clear some things up. Whenever there's a nightmare in law story, like, everyone's all like, leave, 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 they don't deserve you. Listen, I'm not going to leave Cole because one of his parents is a terrible human being, especially when everyone else has been super nice and amazing. Also, I consider his sister to be one of my best friends now, and bear in mind, when I came to this city, I didn't know anyone here. As for what's been going on for the light stuff, my dad came to visit. He said he was there on business, but did not specify. It's always business with him, but anyways, he invited Cole and me out to dinner, so they finally met, and while my dad is protective of me, he's a pretty chill dude, so he and Cole got on very well. Apart from that, Mag the Mad is on a very, very thin ice right now with Jen. She told her mom if she even looked at her the wrong way, she'd not only be uninvited to the wedding, but she would be lucky if she ever saw her future grandchildren. Cole isn't speaking to her at all, like she can't even be mentioned in the presence of him right now. A lot of their other family members have also gotten wind of what happened, and now they're all distancing themselves from her. I found all of this during the bachelorette party, because some people from Jen's mom's side were there, and the people from her dad's side wanted to know all the drama because they'd been out of the loop. They told me that Mag the Mad wanted to come to the party too after she found out that I was coming. I don't know, it seems like she's absolutely obsessed with me. But I found out the reason she's controlling is because she's trying to keep up appearance within her friend group. All of her friends' kids are these super influential entrepreneurs and investment bankers and whatnot. Their kids and in-laws take them on expensive trips and shopping sprees, and she wants that. So she's been trying to get her kids to marry rich so, she can live in the lap of luxury. Which is super funny, actually, but I won't explain why right now. Okay, so the bachelorette party was actually pretty fun. We popped over to Cali and stayed there for a week. On the last night, we met up with the groom and his friends for a bonfire party on the beach. While we all had a blast, we're still dreading the wedding because Mag the Mad is still coming. And we know that she's going to stir up some drama, like she always does. Update number 2. Hey guys, so the wedding happened yesterday, and I just wish I could say everything went smooth, but Mag the Mad was there, so first off, the ceremony was lovely. Jen was a beautiful bride, and the dress looked fantastic on her. People were crying, people were smiling, typical wedding stuff. And then it was time for the pictures. Now, let me just set the stage. Jen invited the immediate family and their partners to come take photos. She and her husband's parents and siblings, and I was there because I was with Cole. When we arrived at the botanical garden, where they were taking pictures, only the bride and groom, their parents, and the groom's older brother were there. So these were the only people who witnessed this. So, Cole and I were talking to Jen and her husband and his older brother about how they wanted everything set up. Cole's parents came over and his mom asked if I'm going to be in the pictures, and Jen said, yes, of course. And Mag the Mad said, and I quote, "She's going to ruin our family's image because..." And before she could even let her thought out, her husband cocked his hand back and slapped her clean across the face. So hard Cole had to catch her before she fell. Then he yells, "Apologize! Apologize now!" And she starts going, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Amidst all the shock and confusion, Jen grabs her mom, takes her to one of the cars, and tells the driver to get her home. The rest of the day, while incredibly awkward after that, went off pretty fine, I'd say. We took pictures, went to the reception, had a blast, and there were a lot of questions surrounding what happened to Mag. But we just told everyone she was under the weather. After everything was said and done, Cole and I went by his place and had a long talk about what went down. We both agreed that what his mom had said was totally out of line, but his dad should not have hit her. Words are one thing, violence is another. I asked him if he had slapped her, would he feel the same way? He said no, if I slapped her, he would have high-fived me, and in short, his mother deserved to be slapped. But his father should not have been the one to do it. Great message, wrong sender. To the point I've never seen Cole's dad get that mad before. Cole said the same thing. Even when they were kids, his dad would never even raise his voice. He was always quiet, meek kind of guy, so something must have happened to set him off. Cole spoke to one of his cousins who checked on his mom, and she's shaken up, but okay, I guess. That slap must have done it to her. Update number 3. Here's an update I learned what prompted the slap from Cole's father. Remember how I said my dad was in town for business a few weeks back? Apparently that business was acquiring a local company, the same local company that Cole's dad worked for. I had no idea. Not at all, and I called him when I found out, and he said it's been the works for a while now. They were just ironing out the kinks in the deal. But wait. There's more. Cole's dad has been trying to get a promotion at this place for years, but the management at the time kept icing him, telling him either he wasn't qualified enough or did not have enough tenure. Now, under this new management, my father, whether directly or indirectly, maybe he had a real chance. It's very possible that Mag the Mad was screwing this up for him big time. For the record, I have said absolutely nothing about what happened to my father at all, and I have no issue with Cole's dad, so I wouldn't ever do that to him. However, like I said in the previous update, there were other people present, and we don't know what they heard or what they saw, and one thing I do know for sure is that people in this city talk. I don't know if Jen's in-laws know people who know people who know people, and if this incident will have ramifications down the line. I asked Cole if he thought his mom would divorce his dad after all this, or vice versa. He laughed, said no. His mom would never, and if anything, his dad would initiate it, and even then his mom would fall on her knees and beg him, plead not to. Apparently, in her friend group, divorce is majorly frowned upon. They've excommunicated divorcees from the group and gossip about them constantly. Cole said that he'd hear these nasty things they'd say when his mom invited them over. They believe that getting a divorce is taking the easy, lazy way out, and that you should fight for your marriage. This is pretty sad because if your partner is abusive, mean to you, or simply doesn't like you anymore, then what are you even fighting for? People in this city care way too much about keeping up their appearance instead of doing what makes them happy. And I find it so incredibly funny that Cole's mom thought I was beneath her precious son, who, by the way, doesn't even like her. When my dad is wealthy enough to buy her home from under her, whatever. At least I don't have to deal with her anymore. Final update. Guys, I thought I'd give you a quick little update since it's been a while and things have kind of settled down. First off, Cole's dad called me to apologize for what happened. He explained that he's been under a lot of tremendous stress lately with the company being acquired and whatnot. The first company he worked at got sold and a bunch of employees got laid off, him included. He and Jin had to remortgage their house in order to get back by because both Cole and Jin were in university at the time, and the mortgage still hasn't been paid off, so he can't afford to lose a job right now. It's not uncommon for places in his industry to wipe out half the staff after being acquired. Because new buyers like to bring in their own people, establish their own standards, etc. He's been stressing for weeks over whether he'd be let go, and on top of that, he's old, and the job market right now, it's, hate to say it, kinda trash. Also, Mag the Mad isn't about to go and get a job herself, I can guarantee you that. Anyways, he said that he should not have let his anger get the best of him, and while he hates how vile his wife has been towards me, he would usually pull her aside in private and tell her off, but in that moment he saw red, and well, he hit her. They're going to couples therapy and counseling over the next few weeks, so hopefully they're going to be able to iron it out. Apart from that, Jin's back from her honeymoon and we had a little chit-chat about what happened. She's gone completely no contact with her mom. Also, now a lot of their family has gotten word about what happened, and they've gone no contact with her too. She feels about the same as Cole about the slap, but says if her dad hadn't done it, she would have. She'd have a long talk with her mother before the wedding concerning her behavior, and she still chooses to embarrass herself and everyone around her in front of Cole's family. So, guys, I just want to go ahead and end this on a light note and let you all know Cole and I are engaged, baby. We're planning on moving in together, and he's been saving up for a few years to buy a home. But since I already, own one, we're just going to expand mine into a proper family home. By the way, my dad already knew about this engagement because Cole pulled him aside when we went to dinner and asked for his blessing. Top comments from the final update. Comment number 1 says this. Congratulations on your engagement, OP. Also, holy cow, your future mother-in-law is crazy. Mag the Mad. I think going no contact with her was the right call. While I don't condone violence at all, she kind of had it coming. Again, this is not an endorsement for domestic abuse or violence, and I do hope your father-in-law apologized, but some people drive a good slog to the face to get them together. Hopefully, you can put in a good word with your dad to save your future father-in-law's job. Comment number 2. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the bad guy here and say that you guys are disgusting. Just as disgusting as your mother-in-law. Her husband assaulted her in front of all of you, and you guys are saying she deserved it? Gosh, you make me sick. You all should have been encouraging her to press charges instead of laughing gleefully at her being in such a place. Like, if he's that comfortable hitting her in front of strangers, imagine what he does to her when no one's around. On top of that, she's trapped in the marriage because she doesn't work, so she has literally no financial independence. Yeah, good job, guys. Ugh, I'm so disgusted with this post. Alright guys, so that last comment that we just read, a lot of you are probably thinking, what kind of commenter would put that down there? I just wanted to add it because it created so much drama in the last update. Everybody was responding to this commenter saying, are you insane? Did you read the same story that I just read? It had nothing to do with what you were saying. OP? I mean, how could you even blame OP? Anyways, I want to know your thoughts about those 2 comments that we just reviewed. Drop it down below in our comment section. My name's Mr. Reddito, and I narrate stories like this every day. So, if you want to be a part of these daily readings, just hit that subscribe button. I'll see you tomorrow, and remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.